In this video, we'll be taking a look at one NHL game happening on January 30th, 2026 and providing you with a free team pick and total pick for this game, so 2 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on this one NHL game after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Columbus Blue Jackets versus Chicago Blackhawks. The Columbus Blue Jackets head into the United Center to face the Chicago Blackhawks on Friday night in the lone NHL matchup on the schedule. That already gives the game a bit of a spotlight feel, since every late puck better and casual fan has just this one to lock in on. Columbus comes in on a strong surge, having recently picked up wins over the Flyers and the Lightning, with the Blues up next on their calendar. They have taken 7 victories in their last 8 outings, which is not just a nice run, it is the kind of heater that changes how a locker room walks into the rink. You can almost feel a team loosen up when wins start stacking, passes look cleaner, and everyone suddenly wants the puck instead of hiding from it. On the other side, Chicago fell to the Wild and then the Penguins, and they will see the Sharks after this spot. They are stuck in a 4-game losing streak, and that sort of stretch can weigh on a young roster that is still figuring out what consistent winning habits even look like. It is not panic territory, but it is definitely the sort of skid where every little mistake feels bigger than it probably is. What really shapes this matchup is how different the current momentum feels between the two clubs. Chicago is at home, which normally gives them a push, but they are the ones skating on the second half of a back-to-back that included overnight travel from Pittsburgh. Anyone who has watched this league for a while knows that those back-to-backs are no joke, especially for a young team that has just had to chase a game against a skilled opponent. Columbus, meanwhile, is on a 3-game heater and has outscored their opponents 14-8 over that stretch. In those 3 wins, they have taken down 2 legitimate Stanley Cup hopefuls in the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is not something you brush aside as a fluke. When you beat teams of that caliber, confidence does not just rise, it spikes, and suddenly a road game in Chicago feels far less intimidating. There is also a wider story here about where Columbus is in its arc. They have not reached the playoffs since the 2019 to 2020 season, and expectations around them have been pretty modest. Yet they are skating like a group that is tired of hearing about minimal expectations and wants to at least make things uncomfortable for the teams above them in the standings. You get urgency, you get determination, and even if the roster is still growing, that sort of mindset often shows up in how they manage tight games. If we zoom in a bit, Chicago has allowed 15 goals in their last 3 games, which is a rough patch defensively any way you slice it. Their current home mark sits at 11 wins, 13 losses, and 5 overtime or shootout losses, which paints a picture of a team that has not turned their own building into a true advantage yet. Columbus, for their part, is 11 wins, 12 losses, and 3 extra time losses on the road, which is not sparkling, but it is competitive enough, especially when paired with their current form. Columbus has rattled off 3 straight victories, and they have managed to score at least 4 goals in 3 of their last 5 contests. That kind of production, paired with a team already feeling good about itself, usually means they are not gripping the stick too tight when they fall behind or hit a lull during a game. Chicago, by contrast, is stuck on those 4 straight losses, and the offense has not been able to dig them out of trouble with any real consistency. One more piece that stands out is the history between these two. The Blue Jackets are enjoying their best stretch of the season and also carry a rest edge here, and they have taken 6 straight games against the Blackhawks. Chicago has not beaten Columbus since December 2022, which starts to feel like a bit of a mental hurdle when those streaks pop up on every pregame graphic. Columbus has also grabbed the last 5 head-to-head meetings by at least 3 goals in each, a run that suggests their style of play has matched up very well with what Chicago is trying to do. Chicago is still a young group learning how to close out games and handle rough patches, and the current 4-game slide, while the offense struggles, just reinforces that they are still in that growth phase. It is hard to imagine that skating the second night in a row after late travel suddenly flips that script. If anything, the schedule spot tilts more pressure onto a tired Blackhawks bench rather than giving them a reset. All of that leaves this matchup tilted toward the team bringing momentum, rest, and the more confident recent history into the building. As our first pick for this matchup, the Columbus Blue Jackets money line is our full game side pick. The scoring profile of this game tells a slightly different story than the surface level form suggests, and it is worth walking through step by step. The Columbus Blue Jackets are averaging 3.04 goals per game, which shows that they have enough firepower to regularly put up a decent number on the scoreboard. They are converting on 19.4% of their power play opportunities, so when they get a man advantage, they are far from harmless. Defensively, Columbus is allowing 3.29 goals per game and is killing 76.2% of opposing power plays. That combination hints at a team that can absolutely create offense but can also give chances back the other way, especially if they take penalties or lose structure for a stretch. It is not a purely shutdown profile, and that usually keeps the door open for games that swing a bit. On the other bench, the Chicago Blackhawks are averaging 2.65 goals per game, and they are actually slightly ahead on the power play percentage side at 19.6%. So even though their recent scoring form has looked rough in that 4-game losing streak where they have only 7 total goals, the baseline numbers suggest they can still threaten when they get their looks, especially on the man advantage. Defensively, Chicago is allowing 3.13 goals per game and owns a strong penalty kill, wiping out 85.6% of opponent power plays. That kind of penalty kill can slow down a hot power play, but it does not fully erase the fact that they still give up more than 3 goals per night on average. So you get this mix where both teams can score, both can be scored on, and neither profile screams a low-event slog. Columbus has scored at least 4 goals in 3 of their last 5 outings, which lines up neatly with that season-long average that sits a bit over 3. Chicago, despite the current funk, is still facing a Blue Jackets defense that has had its own share of shaky moments. Even a low-scoring group can find a way to bump their numbers for a night when the opponent is not airtight in its own zone. Recent form also feeds into the possibility of a more open game. Columbus has outscored opponents 14-8 during their 3-game tier, which signals both offensive punch and some room given up the other way. Chicago has allowed 15 goals in their last 3 games, and while that is not a trend any coach wants to see continue, it does set the stage for another matchup where goals are very much on the table. Put together, the averages, the special teams numbers, and these recent swings create a picture of a matchup where chances should be there for both sides for most of the night. It does not feel like a game scripted to finish quiet on the scoreboard. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.